You're on. So mute yourself. Yeah, it's okay. You can hear. Hey, Melissa. Great to see you. I felt a flurry of spring love coming out to you today. So that besides the coronavirus, we're going to be focusing on this energy, like life force, flourishing. Hey, Jimena. Lovely to see you. Hey, Maxine. And this is going to be a valuable stepping into the situation, shall we call it, but also it's going to be something where you can actually get prompted to act now, because the greatest thing about moving with the tides is the tide is moving, right? The waves, the ocean are moving. And if you can step up, and as Roger Hamilton was saying this morning, get on your surfboard. So don't stand on the beach watching the tidal wave around you about to crash. Don't run. Don't freak out. Get on your surfboard. And so this is part of getting on your surfboard. And we're aiming this to be a conversation that I will carry on for a few weeks, actually, to be able to help people act in the moment and then shift their business online. So it would be great to just start that. Well, I'll start by saying who I am. So, hey, hi. Oh, my cats are attacking each other on the table. Stop that, guys. My name is Sally Griffin, AKA Millionaire Yogi, and I help visionaries become world-changing influencers. So all of the work that I do is around influence, and all of the work that I do is around spreading your influence from your home, from your laptop, from the thing that you love, from your phone, and not really focusing on the traditional models of business, which are going to, you'll see a collapse in that right now, right? That's the corporate model, which experiences everything the same all the time. So the same energetics, it's like you go to work, you work from 9 to 5. Everything is the same, and it's always push. It's always push, 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 push. And then when something happens to interrupt the system, it comes crashing down. And we're going to see a little bit of that going on right now. And I work in cyclical business. So for years, I've observed seasons. Roger Hamilton very much works with the Chinese system. So he's working with Chinese elements. As it moves around the world, as we get different seasons in different countries of times to step up and times to step back. And it's cyclical business that is going to get you through this wave, rather than, well, many of you are going to be at home now. Many of you are going to be forced to work in, well, a great new way, right? You're going to be working for yourself at home and starting to experience the possibilities of doing things your way. And you can monetize that and start to think about how you can do it your way and monetize it. You're going to have a very happy life. So I want to start by saying, at this moment, we are experiencing vast potential, vast possibilities. And I want to put that really into the space now, like huge potential if you can ride this wave. And this is just to get in there. Hey, Laura, I'd love to hear from people in the chat. Where are you from? Because it would just be very interesting to see where everybody is from today and see what our little global village is doing. I know. Sylvia.
Can you hear me?
Oh, Laura, yes, I can hear you. Where are you?
I'm in Northern California, so I'm 55 miles north of the Golden Gate Bridge in Sonoma County. I'm in bed. Yeah, it's early in the morning here. Well, I've been up for a while, but I've been writing. But we're on lockdown. So we're on lockdown from midnight a couple of days ago. We're allowed to go out to get groceries, medical stuff. And fortunately, we're allowed to go out to the parks. The regional parks are staying open apart from the beaches and camping. And they're also allowing it to be free. The parks are free to walk in, but not to park your car. So that's such a relief for me that I can go out in nature still.
Exactly.
And so I've been doing that. But it's, I teach a class at my house, and I also have a women's networking business, women business, and we meet in person.
Yeah.
So I'm transferring both of those to online meetings and online classes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to give people. I'm going to help you with actually literally doing that today. But let's hear where some other people are. So Melissa's in London, Maxine's in Devon, Sylvia's in Midtown Atlanta. Michelle, I don't know where you are. I don't know which Michelle that is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, oh, it's Michelle.
Hi, I'm in Arizona. I don't have a camera on my computer, so I just have to listen. Well, I see you, but you don't see me.
No, but welcome. Pleasure to have you here.
Thanks.
And then there are a few others who I can see. I don't know where you are, but you can type in the feed, in the chat, just where you are. Fort Lauderdale, that's Jimena. Just to get the sense of what happens when things become disconnected. Shireen, Stockholm, we know. Shireen just moved to Stockholm and then it's shut down. So I heard a very ancient description or definition of the word crisis from the ancient Greek, which is separation. And so we're experiencing crisis, but what we're experiencing is separation right now. And then another definition of it is decision. So it's kind of interesting that both are there. Like one is there's separation and another one is decision time, right? And decision has got the ending, which is when you say, oh God, I've gone blank on this, hang on. So there's a distinction between making a choice and making a decision. A decision cuts off all other options. And so it's not the best way to go about this. A choice, on the other hand, is your choice, and you're always 100% there with it. And what we want to shift right now is, though you will be being hit by waves of the news and all of those things, which I really highly recommend you distance yourself from. If you want some separation that's positive, separate from the news, right? Like pull out of it right now. Make a decision or a choice to not be inundated by these scare tactics. And then also notice what's happening here. We've got a group of people from around the world who are connected and who are riding the wave. And this is really, I watch business in one way, like what's the economic crisis going to do around the world? So that's one part that I look at. But the other is I'm always knowing that everything is perfect where you are at the time. So you need to kind of get that in your bones, in your blood. You are in the perfect place at the perfect time. And if you can just start to make some moves that are going to help you in the current times, and you act now. And that's the thing that I want to really emphasize today is it's not about sitting, shrinking, feeling the impact, withering away, and then thinking I'm going to deal with this later. If I could give you one piece of advice and the word, it's like now. Like by Monday, I want you to get something in place. And I'm going to help you get that in place so that nobody feels like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing, right? I also think that what would be very useful is, is to know what people's businesses are. So we know what we're talking about in this group here. So if you don't mind hitting the chat and just writing what you actually do, and if any of you are already working online. So 100% of my business pretty much is online. And I've been like that for years. So Kyle is luxury travel. Is that luxury travel like actual running events, Kyle? Is that running trips? Are you an organizer for trips? Just be a bit more specific so I know what I'm speaking into there. And Michelle, you've got a yoga studio. Okay, brilliant. Marketing consulting, not online. Alexandra, nice to meet you. Where are you, Alexandra? Sylvia, you're an American-Austrian baby holder. We know that. Going online on Monday. Melissa is admin for yoga teachers and studios. Alexandra's in Sofia, Bulgaria. Oh, very nice. Jan runs women's circles and is a breath worker. Shireen is sustainability integrator, yoga breath teacher online now. Brilliant. And Maxine is saying you're starting a coaching creativity business. You've developed some tools to coach with and making your coaching authentic to you. Okay, so I would like to, oh, hang on. Whoops, there's more coming in. So Jimena is a finance coach, releasing limiting beliefs and having all your personal and business finances assigned to receive abundance. And I think this is Amy, AK, yoga teacher and spiritual coach. Alora is networking group and writing classes. Yeah, oh, it's Amy, good. Nice to see you, or not see you. Nice to see your letters. So the first thing that I want to get you into is to recognize another piece of information that's really important for you to get. In cyclical business, the model is not to be in action at all times, right? There's a whole piece of cyclical business which, unlike corporate, is stepping back, observing. There's watching cycles that are going through, potent cycles, and then there are some times of action. Now we happen to be in, ta-da, it's the spring equinox today, literally today. There is no mistake about that. And the message of spring equinox is all about seed planting. And I want to give you a sense of what happens with seed planting. From the perspective of a child who doesn't know anything about seed planting, if you are an adult showing a child how to plant a seed, or you say, here's a flower, and I'm going to show you how a flower grows. You would explain to the child that you clear the soil to make everything even. You'd even have to dig it up a little bit each year. That is an important part because you need to get nutrients in it. What does that symbolically mean? It means you need your foundation absolutely reassessed every new springtime. So foundation is everything that you need to put into place that makes you feel good, healthy, happy, etc., etc. Then you would dig a hole, and this child would watch you put in a seed. I got a beautiful seed today. Let me show it to you. It's this wonderful. I'm actually going to do a meditation on Facebook Live in an hour or 45 minutes, and I'm going to use this as the symbol of that. But I just want you to get what a beautiful bulb can look like. It's this wild, organic blob. It's not this, right? And when the child sees this thing go into the ground, and then you pat over the soil, and then you get ideal conditions. So you would have the rain, the sun, nutrients, maybe a bit of organic fertilizer. You pat it all down, and then you say, ta-da, we're done. And the child's experience of that right at the moment, when they have no understanding of cycles and timing or anything, would be like, where's the plant? You know, where is the actual growth? Where is it? And what you need to get, this is a great symbol for you to understand right now, is that in that period when you do the seed planting, which is ideal right now, so it's not a period of sitting back in all the cycles of the year, it is a period of planting, like today. Then you would say to the child, no, there's this period of time which will be, it goes through its cycle underground. You don't see any operating systems. You don't see any evidence of anything happening. And then I guarantee you in the summer, you know, there's going to be this incredible flower that comes up. Now, from a child's perspective, that will be very disconcerting because there's nothing happening. And what happens is, that's exactly what entrepreneurs are like. They go, oh, well, I've done this thing. I've got my intention. I've started a few steps. I've put my seed in the hole. I've done everything that's important. And then there's no evidence of anything. And so one of the pieces that you really need to get right now, if you're going to step into cycles of business, hey, Dee, I see you, you gorgeous woman. Hey, is that even though you may be freaked out right now, and even though you're going to be, I hope, step away from some of the disturbance of listening about it, is that you can't correct this overnight, right? You can't correct it. We're in a cycle now. There's a spiral that's going to happen. And what we're talking about is riding it. We're not trying to correct it. We're trying to move and flow with it. And what you want to start to do is you need to take action right now, straight away. But there's other things that can take place over a period of months that I'm also going to get you guys to start initiating that you won't necessarily see the results of. And just the way that I've given you that analogy with planting the seed in the soil and it's very flat and there ain't nothing going on and you can all be freaking out going, oh my God, nothing's going on. I guarantee you they'll come up at the right time, right? And that's the kind of nourishment that you need to take into your mind, that we need to change our actions right now. And then something different will come out of it. So change your expectations. If you're used to, I know Dee, for instance, runs constant events, women's circles, live events. It's always, you know, you do at least probably 2 a month, don't you? Do you do 2 a month? Yeah. And all of a sudden, that model isn't going to work right now. You know? Do you want to say something about that, dear? I can see you.
Sorry. No, I was just saying, yeah, I'll unmute again. Yeah, and retreats as well. Yeah, retreats as well. We've just had to cancel a retreat.
Yeah, I know. I read that. I know. Heartbreaking, isn't it? So the first thing that you want to do is you really need to just get this. If there's nothing else that you get from this, you know, this training right now, this minute, if there's nothing else, then you get that you need to change your expectations and that you need to act differently, then that would be a success, because 90% of the world will not get that, right? And you'll be ahead of the game. The second piece is most people don't think outside the box when something's going on. They want to like test the waters as it's happening. And believe me, you don't need any more testing on this. You just need to know simply that by Monday, that if this group can support each other to go online on Monday and to actually refer one another amongst yourselves, and that's something that I'm happy to help navigate through and set you up and all of that, that you will be already 10 steps ahead of the game by Monday, literally like that, because the spiral is going to be going on one level down because people will be freaking out and contracting, but on the other level, people will be making tons of money. And really, that's where we want to put you into, that position that may not happen instantly. But if you start to take the actions that I'm going to suggest to you today, you'll be well underway in about a month. And then you need to just persist with it. And it's like the bit where that's where you don't see any evidence when the seeds are under the ground. You have to develop your level of trust that this works. Okay? So the first thing that I want to say to you is that for anybody who is running anything like a networking, like Alora, like cacao ceremonies, like Dee, there are things that you can start to do with large groups of people. And mainly, you may not have been already collecting data. So you might be doing events that you could suddenly come online with. But one of the biggest pieces, and I've got my assistant here, Melissa, who is going to, I'll explain a little bit about what she does for me. Years ago, when I was running events and I was running a yoga festival, I said to some co-runners of that festival, you know, guys, we really need to start collecting data. And they were like, nah, we don't need that. Why do we need that? You know, and that was 4 years ago. And I was like, even if you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it, because I see the value in this. And when people start to switch course, like you're going to, and maybe you want to start doing things on Zoom, the biggest piece they leave out is the collection of data. And so I want to just explain the way that works. Melissa, who is my assistant, one of the main things, hi. I just want to talk to you a little bit. Let's have a conversation between ourselves. So let's unmute for a minute.
Hi.
Hey. So Melissa is my data collector, and she does it in the most simple and beautiful way, and it's called an opt-in page. Now, I don't know if all of you guys know what that is. Do you want to just say yes or no in the feed, just so we know who might know what that is and who does not know what that is? No? Great. We want to hear some no's, because otherwise it would be... Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. Brilliant. Okay, so Melissa and I, every time I run an event, unusually not this one, right? This is different. This is a crisis event, and I wanted to give something to the community. But I am doing an event which I've had to cancel live in LA. And what I did was I immediately got all the speakers into a group and said, hey, can we deliver this over 2 days rather than one, because it's different time zones, but the same date. That's April 4th. I'll tell you more about it later. And the first thing that we did was we got all the speakers booked and confirmed and organized. And then the second thing I did was I got onto Melissa and said, can you create an opt-in page for this? The difference between me inviting you straight onto Zoom, even though I know some of you, and I don't know all of you, is I will never, ever be able to collect your data like this. It's tedious. It's like, yes, I've managed to gather my group together here, but I won't have any access to do follow-up emails, follow-up connection calls, nothing. Because unless I know who everybody is, I haven't asked for your data here. And that's a big, big distinction that I want to give you. So the opt-in page is something that Melissa helps me with. And it means that the difference is that our audience, rather than just getting the Zoom link, which is, hey, here's an invite, she creates a Zoom link for me. And then what do you do? I'll let you explain what an opt-in page is.
So through Sally's mailing software, so she uses Infusionsoft, but MailChimp is one that lots of other people use. The opt-in page is built through that. So people add in their email address, so they want to sign up, and then it collects whether that person wants to be on her mailing list going forward. And you can assign tags to it, so you know what people have signed up for, who they're, where they've come from, what they're interested in, and then you've got that information for the future. And you can set up all sorts of automations. So once someone completes that opt-in form, they get sent an email automatically with the details, and you can schedule a chain of emails or other things that automatically happen, sort of without you having to do anything once it's been set up. So you can say, email that person the confirmation, email them again in a week's time. If they click on this, this happens. If they purchase that, this happens. You can get very in-depth and complicated with it, but on the top end, it's quite a simple process.
Yeah, and so everything that I do, which is I'm more front end. I always think of myself as the boobs of the organization, and everybody else is the ass of the organization. I joke with them, but it's like I don't get involved in that piece anymore because I'm not good at that piece. Melissa is brilliant at that piece, right? But Melissa doesn't necessarily want to do this piece, right? You wouldn't. No. So it's a mutual beneficial way of working with people. who will have different skill sets. And I want you to really understand what an opt-in page is. It's this simple, that if I was inviting people to a Zoom call or a group gathering, like say networking that Alora wants to put on, that Dee wants to put on, which is a group gathering, I would send them all emails, but it would have an opt-in link. It wouldn't be the direct Zoom link. When you hit the link, it would go to this, what's called an opt-in page. And there they would have to sign up for everything that I'm doing. So it means that people who follow me, even though they've been with me, say, for a few years, every time I do a new event, they have to sign up for it. And it means that you're getting permission, but what else are you getting? You're getting their data. And I'm telling you this because this isn't sinister, it's not creepy, it's not like I'm getting their data. It's that if I never saw you again, and I was about to do the most incredible event that would help all of you, how would you ever be in touch with me again without me telling you, like, hey, it's happening at this certain time? So there is a reason for it. It's to make connections super excellent. You can also, like Melissa was explaining, you can make a campaign, a marketing campaign, really, really effective. Because if you get the figures like this, 20% of your people will buy up front and 80% will buy back end. So everything that you do up front might just have a little hit and miss moment with it, but if you then follow and nurture the connection with these people afterwards and give them sometimes freebies, sometimes gifts, sometimes offers to join your programs or whatever it is, or your events, then you develop a relationship. And the number one thing that I want you all to get is that connection is currency, 100%. In this world where we are in separation and we're in crisis, which is even more separation, the reason somebody will work with you or will give you their money is because they trust you. And how is trust developed? I was giving you that piece, that symbol, you know, when I've planted the seed, we put the soil on top, and then there is no evidence of any growth whatsoever. The piece that is in place right then is trust. And so trust is something in times of crisis, you guys need to be trusted authorities in your own world by being super helpful. The only people that will make it, and I don't mean to sound dire like that, but I'm just really being this specific. If you are so intent on selling all the time, you will not make it. If you never follow up, you will not make it. But if you have a nice balance of offering something for free and also being of help and service when somebody is in a crisis, which is like right now, you will absolutely surf the waves of this one. So one of the resources that I want to give you guys is Melissa, because she's so used to doing opt-in pages for me. If you've never done one, if you've never done a freaking opt-in page and you don't even know what it is, you could set up your whole event, but Melissa could help you with just that piece. And it wouldn't be like a killer on the budget or anything, but what it starts is you start to develop a real decent mailing list, which is one of the things of going online that's essential, like critical right now. So those people I worked with in the yoga festival who all said, nah, we don't need data. From that minute on, I was collecting data because I somehow understood that it was going to be important. And now I work 100% online. The festival went down the tube. It didn't survive, but I had all the mailing list and the data, just me, because nobody else was interested in it. And it was a success. Just for that reason, I was able to then segue into the next way I was working from a yoga festival into starting to do online coaching. And this is how quick it was. The minute that I put, I am going to be an online coach, I got 5 people who signed up with me like instantly because I had a list. So the first thing I want you to think about with your business is, what is it that you actually do? And hey, Laura, I see you as well. I believe you are the Laura that I know, the furniture Laura. You'd be a great example for this, if you are. If it's the Laura that I think it is, Laura creates these beautiful distressed furniture pieces of look. And how, you know, when you think about that, like she's somebody who's in furniture, how on earth would you move that online, right? What I would suggest is that she actually starts to develop showing people the process of that, because while everybody is at home, and some are going to get very bored, believe me, just being at home all the time. Some are going to be elated, like Jan, because she got 2 weeks off, fully paid from Lululemon. So she's like flying on a high. But for some people, I can see you. Some people are going to have this thing like, how can my product end up online? Like, how can I suddenly sell it? Some of you are going to have to show the process behind it now. So it's rather than show, I think Laura would be a perfect example of starting to do videos of how you actually create these beautiful furniture pieces. You can do it with your own phone and change the angle or the focus of the way that you're showing your products. Almost like the product is secondary, but the way that people will be fascinated by that is we're going into a time where entertainment is everything, where people want to and have the time to sit down and watch these trainings or these experiences. So it's like right now is the time to start thinking, well, if I couldn't do a women's circle, this is D, if I couldn't literally pour out cacao and, you know, serve people, then what is the other piece that I do? Well, I know you do sound baths, you do meditations, you do all of that. So it would be switching the emphasis to, I'm going to show you how I get this together. I'm going to show you how to create sacred space. I'm going to show you people how I go about even setting up my sound bowls, what the different bowls are. Oh, you're Laura from Rhode Island. You're not the furniture woman. I love it. I love it, Laura from Rhode Island. And I don't know what you do either. So it's starting to show the behind the scenes of your world, which becomes very, very interesting to people when they don't just want product. It's more like, hey, how am I creating this thing? How am I going to put these people through a process? What are the secondary things that you never think about, right? And if Dee serves literally a drink of cacao, which she can't do anymore, she could do a whole piece on what is cacao. Because what happens when the time that we lift all of these bans, people will want to be with you instantly. If you follow the thread through of education, communication, connection, then there will be a time for you to actually do those circles again. And people will be so sick of the constriction of staying in that you will have fed their mind all the way through, and then the first one that you do when it's available will be sold out. So a couple of things I just want to catch up with. Melissa, could you put your details in here? This is for people who are thinking about the opt-in page. Melissa is just going to pop her details on here so you can email her if that helps. I think it's a critical piece in these times for going online for you guys to have. Obviously, you don't have to use Melissa, but Melissa is brilliant, and she's here. So I just wanted to say that. So Deanne is also taking the circle online tomorrow. Yes, and there are certain things that then let's have a talk. Do you unmute yourself about this so we can just have a talk amongst ourselves?
Hey.
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 So. Dee is known for her super personal, you know, qualities of holding space and being there for women. So it could occur like this is a real bummer, right? To suddenly be online, like there's, you know, like how can you connect in the same way? I don't know how you're finding it. Is that, how are you finding it? Ooh, where'd you go?
I am, you know, there's nothing that compares to being in person with women. It's just not the same as being online, and there is something that we can do online. That's what I'm really sensing right now. And so tomorrow we're doing a spring equinox ceremony. Obviously there's no cacao, but it's just going to be a gathering of women online at 7 o'clock, and we will do what we can, you know. So I'll be sharing some meditations and a little bit of movement and a sound healing, and we'll see how it goes.
So now I want to ask you.
Yeah, it's adapting. Like,
I want to ask you the critical
go
question.
for it. Yeah.
So what are you doing about the finance?
So it's all by donation. It's really interesting what you were saying, because intuitively I just thought, okay, set up a sign up link so people have to input their name and email so that I can send them the information for the ceremony. So that was my initial intention, and actually it's going through to a audience group in my mail list. So then I've obviously captured the information. So actually have to, so they'll get an email saying, do you want to sign up to this? And then they click yes or no. Those that don't get put into the group and can't receive the information. So what I will have to do is, if people don't want to do that, because I didn't set up it's not specifically an opt-in page, it's just a sign up for the event, which captures their information. I will have to figure out a way of making sure that they actually want to be on the newsletter, which Melissa will help me with, because I also use Melissa. Thank you, Sally. So yeah.
And so this is the piece that I want to talk to you about. That one of the most uncomfortable things for people when they suddenly go from an online event to from a live event to an online, is they're very uncomfortable about the pricing, right? Because suddenly it's unfamiliar.
Yeah, so I put it for donation. I put it as at donation, basically. So I don't know. That's kind of seemed intuitively kind of nurturing the times as the thing to do, but perhaps that can change later on down the line. I'd love to hear your advice on that, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. So the two things that are going to make you thrive and stand out, all you beautiful people, is if you are, first of all, seen as helpful. Hey, Andre, I see you in Bali. How cool is that? The first thing is if you are seen as helpful, because when people are in shock, crisis, or whatever you want to call it, you know, meltdown, they instinctively start thinking only about themselves. It's not a bad thing. It's a human thing, right? It's just human. Everybody goes into, oh my fucking God, like this, buy thousands of toilet rolls. That's the scene that you're dealing with right now. What is going to cut through all of that is if you're like the voice of calm. Hello, I'm here to help you. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, okay, you're not watching the news, you're not in this total hyper thing. And if you pitch your message to start to address the times, so everybody think about what it is that you do, whatever it is that you do, start to write about the context of it being the times that we're dealing with right now. So I want to give you an example of that, and then I can talk about pricing. The people who are going to make it through this wave really successfully are going to be seen as first helpful. And then after being helpful, you can start to adjust your prices. So in the case of D, that is a really good way that you've moved forward for the first one. And I would suggest that you say that, so that rather than saying, hey, everybody, I'm donation now, which people will naturally think, oh, dare I say, it's all about me and it's all about donation. Great, I'm going to do that. But it's not serving you in the long run, right? So it's about, you say this is your offer in times of crisis right now. And you put a boundary around it. You put a carefully constructed, this is how I'm responding for my tribe. I'm giving you this thing as donation only this time. So that's the first thing. So that they don't misunderstand that that's like you've suddenly gone on to donation only. You actually language that. When I have changed the event, which live would have been $397, I'm telling everybody it's free. This event that I'm going to give all of you the opportunity to join in. In fact, what Melissa could do at some point is you could put the opt-in link for that event, because the trainings are going to be amazing. But just to explain that, I am not trying to make money out of anybody who wasn't going to be live in LA, right? There's no value to me whatsoever in doing that, because the live event would have been a really special live event. What I have done instead was get everybody from that event to deliver on Zoom over the weekend of April 4th and 5th, same weekend, so that nothing has changed. We will get a bigger audience, which is great news, and I'm going to give it for free. So for some of you, that may be appropriate as well, that the first touch of your new online experience is for free. And that is an appropriate way of moving forward. But you've got to explain it like this is a one-off, and then you start to put in an appropriate amount of money. You should always have a payment link set up. Obviously, some of the obvious ones are things like PayPal. And don't be afraid to talk about money, because what I assure you what will happen is people will feel like, ooh, I'm a bit uncomfortable in this online space. Zoom is brilliant, by the way. You can get a free Zoom, account, and you can do everything for free in 40 minutes, right? For free. So you guys should all check out zoom.us, zoom.us, I'll put it in here, and all of you get an account right now. So this day, go get your account. By the time you do your first offering, it's going to be to help your community, which is the natural and appropriate thing to do, or you do donation only, like Dia is doing. But after that, then you want to start to introduce real pricing. Because if you think about it, like yoga teachers and people who are used to teaching live classes, there is an expectation of a certain pricing for yoga. And then if you suddenly make it like, oh, it's donation only or whatever, believe me, people will after a while take the piss out of you. They will not do a great leveling up to what you need, and you need to live. So it's about looking at something for free, something for donation right now, but within about 3 weeks, I want you guys to all have a decent pricing package. The other thing that you can do, which I was talking to Melissa about today, she's just put in the opt-in page. Take that link, because that's a free event that I'm giving, and there's going to be amazing training. It's all about the sole reason you're here. So it's like your sole purpose. And there's trainings from excellent people who do messaging. There's people who, there's a soul branding coach. There's somebody who's doing how to develop TED Talks. So believe me, it's worth you guys having that for free. And I was talking to Melissa, who she's got packages with people, a lot of yoga teachers who work with her and her concern was, well, what happens over time when they start to feel the hit of no students in the actual yoga studios, and that impacts her business. So one of the things I suggested that she do right now is not offer it for free, but do a slash price package for people who, just to get them online with her, to get them suddenly working with her, because she's got a package that's going to help them online. She does opt-in pages. She does lots of email content and everything that's back end and admin. That's who she is. So it would be appropriate for her right now, rather than going, hey, I'm doing this for free, or donation would be totally inappropriate for her. But what would be appropriate is to offer a deal, right? And you put that into the space where you're saying, you know, I'm already a successful person doing what I do, but given that the times are this way, I want to offer a special deal to my people or anybody new who wants to do this. And you're thinking about doing that, I hope, are you, Melissa? Yeah. Yeah. unmute yourself for a moment, because we had a rapid conversation about, it's not that she isn't already successful, she is. She's not starting from scratch, but it's the people that she works with who would suddenly have an impact and start to see her as, do I need her? And so she needs to bring in new clients right now. And she can bring them in the lower end, and then what happens is they get used to her, and I can't live without her. So then all of a sudden, she has a whole new business starting. That's the seed planting. Right now, you're planting the seeds. You're getting people to share your information, if it's nothing other than that. So in the last few minutes that we have, do you have any questions? And I am going to do another one of these. And because I didn't take all your details, I'm going to do it. You might, if you want another one of these, you could put your emails on here and Melissa will capture this for you later. That's one way we can do it. But do you have any questions at all about your specific business that I can help with right now? I do have referrals for web design. Oh yeah, totally. I do. I do. And the thing is that what's so interesting is I've got this community of people around me who are freaking awesome at what they do. And that this may be a time when we can share each other's information, right? So I know Jan, I'm looking at you. Jan is one of my oldest friends, and she works in Lululemon. Lululemon have laid their staff off for 2 weeks, and your concern is that they may then go into, we don't know how long they might lay you off, right? But Jan's older work, how I met her was she was a breathwork practitioner. And so I have been urging her to get online with this. She's amazing at it. And I bring her on all my retreats and get her to do breath work for people, and they have out-of-body experiences, like it's like that. So now is the time that it would be somebody like Jan, who is, she hasn't been working online all the time, she's a bit uncomfortable. I would suggest you get a light, darling. You laugh. The very basics, and there is a training that I'm also going to do with people to help you like step up and get more comfortable with your expression and all of that online. But Jan has never done any of that, right? So transferring her skills straight into Zoom is going to be something that we could share, that group and that information. And Laura, you also have a networking. So what I would suggest is that you start doing that like it's going to be bigger and better and wilder, and you start to make it like it's a networking group that's going to be way bigger than your local area, right? Because you were making it local, now you need to make it global. And that's how quick it can happen. So online presence training, yes, I'm going into that. You know, one of the pieces of work that I'm doing now is I work with another company that I have called the Visionaries. And we're all about creating visionary ads. There will be a place for that. Right now is not the time for us to shoot them, but now is the time to train people in getting ready to do that. Because guess what? Those of us who have them right now, the marketing opportunities during this period of time. Are you putting your hand up, Ulrich? No. Hey, Ulrich, lovely to see you. I thought you were like, hand up. Hello. The marketing is incredible right now. So that's the other piece that you need to get rather than feeling down about it. This is a marketing explosion. So if we can get you ready for the time when the lift of the bans are, you know, coming off and that, you will be already 10 steps ahead of everybody else. So Facebook Lives, showing how the back of the scenes of the way you work, starting to do more video, getting a Diva light will help a lot, a ring light. Get those from Amazon, they're really cheap. Starting to ask people to share and get referrals from other people, because right now we're all doing it like a community and we're saying, we really want to help each other. This is what I'm good at. I can help you like get off your ass and change mode like right now. That's one of my skill sets, and hold your hand and help you to do it. And I don't need paying for that, right? So I'm really happy to take people through a few of these to help you do that. But there are other people here who could deal with a whole bunch of other things that are going, like Dee, for instance, you're doing your women's circle tomorrow night, right? It's 7 p.m. English time. Some of us will be able to do that. So why don't you put the link in here for that? And we can send all of these out. Once we've got your emails, we can send all this information. Jan, you do breath work. Ulrich, you do Feldenkrais at home. Andre, you do...
It's cutting out a bit.
Yeah, it is. I think we've got bad connection, you and I. Not really, but you know what I mean. Just today. Do you want to put your link in there for any women who want to come on your ceremony tomorrow night and donate? Yeah? So just put it in here, and we can then carry that out. Ulrich does Feldenkrais work and lots of other kind of work that you might want to add yourself to, so we can send it. Jan does incredible breath work, so she does somatic, what is it? Somatic? Unmute.
Somatic breath work, conscious connected breathing.
And what else do you do?
Women's circles. I run a wise women's circle, so I'm training a bunch of women in, in the elements, path working, to be priestesses.
To be priestesses. So Jan has all of that going on. And maybe what we could do with this group is we could have people write little short descriptions of what you do. And then we can start to merge this network together and refer each other on and support each other during this time. It's not a time to freak out. It's a time to make a decision right now, make a choice. And all the skill sets that even I know all of these people have, they're just incredible. If we started acting, referring, showing up. I want to give you another resource as well, which is my private Facebook. My private Facebook group is called The Spirit of Influence. So I'll write that in. Sally's Facebook group is The Spirit. So you have to look it up. The Spirit of Influence. What we do in that, I don't have the link there, I've just written the name there, is we highlight everybody's different skill sets, right? We even get you to do a video about yourself. You can put it up and you can get referrals and get known that way. And I've noticed that there have been a few people, even one or two that you get new clients with. It's great. I've noticed that really does work, and it's completely for free. So any of you who want to sign up for that, just get on that thing, the Spirit of Influence. And we can highlight you. I'm trying to think of anything else right now. So the first thing is, get yourself on Zoom. I'll do another call next week, which will be, I might even do it on Monday. I'll send you information about it so that you can come on. And I'm going to try and hold your hand to take you through getting your new idea or business online. All of you. So that you don't just sit there while everybody is freaking out and think, oh, I'm not sure about this. We have about a few minutes. Well, let's say 3, because I've got to get on a Facebook Live in a minute. Does anyone have any questions at all? You need a recipe to get your vision online from Yvonne? Okay, a recipe would be perfect. The first thing is get used to the technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm used to the technology. I just have these ideas inside of myself that want to burst out, but it's almost like, like what do you do first, and some of the things you discussed, I'm afraid of the technology. I've just come to that aha moment, and I'm a bit afraid of I have a phone and a video camera, but what is preventing me from setting that up and filming myself and putting myself out there. So yeah,
Well,
it's fear, I guess.
yeah, fear, and it's wanting to look good. I mean, you should have seen my first ones. Jesus, they were so hilarious. I was in darkness, and then, you know, I'd look blotchy, and then a cat would walk across the screen. I mean, it's okay to be authentic. Actually, authenticity right now is the number one quality that is going to get you out there. It's not about being perfect or beautiful or stunning or whatever. Now I joke, because you never know what I'm wearing from the waist below, but I always dress up from above the waist, right, for these calls. But sometimes people are like, God, you're looking glamorous and everything. I'm like, I'm wearing really scruffy leggings and awful slippers and whatever that you never get to see, right? But you start to get used to I always make sure that I'm always showing life force of the seasons, because it's part of my brand. It's what I do. So I always have flowers or prints behind the flowers. There's always things that you can do to improve it, but you got to start somewhere, and you got to start fast. So the first thing is, in the last 3 minutes, get on Zoom, like sign yourself up for it. I'll follow this through by next week. So it's zoom.us, and sign yourself up for a free account. That's all you need to do. I'll go through the technology with you next week, and we will start to refer each other already. I'll try and gather this group together, because I didn't do an opt-in page. For those of you who want to like really start getting smart, you need an opt-in page, 100%. Like even the way that Dee's doing it, which is great, she's still capturing, but then she has to do all the work to get back to people to know who's tagged and this and that. An opt-in page does all of that. So it self-selects, and it never irritates anyone, because if you have not put your information, I never get in touch with you, right? So I'm not known as somebody who's desperate to hang on to people who don't want to know me. And that's the way you should be. You should really, really speak to the people who want you. And even if it's 2 people who watch your first lives or whatever, they may be the 2 people that become your best clients. So I want to leave you with a lot of optimism right now. And there's Ulrich, Breathwork Movement and Feldenkrais, and he works with a lot of, and you build custom online courses, that's right, using Thinkific. So anybody who has a course that they want to put online, Ulrich is your man. And I've got to go onto my Facebook Live now, where I'm going to do a meditation on the spring equinox, because lest we forget, there's the spring equinox today. It's all about planting seeds. You're in the perfect place for that. So I'm going to love you, leave you. Mwah. I'm going to keep this and send it all back to you, but where it will be is on the Spirit of Influence. I will always post there, and I post it on my YouTube channel, Millionaire Yogi. And we'll just carry on. I'll get in touch with you about next week, and get on Zoom, and then we'll move forward step by step, okay? Don't worry about the virus. Just surf this wave. And see you later. Loads of love. And you'll get a copy of the chat, please, too. Yes, of course. Okay?
Thank you, Sally.
Pleasure. Be well. Have fun. Get flowers. I always joke, it's don't just self-isolate, self-pleasure. Right on.
Hello, Andre.
See you later.
Nice to meet everybody. Bye-bye.
Yeah, see you later. I'll capture all of this.
Bye, thank you. I'll see you on the next call.
Yeah, I got to get over to the other one.